Hello, this is Elwood EQ, and I'm doing a little video on my Shadow Knight. I made a Shadow Knight persona on my Ranger. Kind of felt like it, and kind of been into when I'm grouping, enjoying playing my shaman a little more than like DPS or something. I feel a little bit more, I guess pivotal be a pretty good word for a healer in a group. So yeah, kind of like that. And this guy's a tank. So I also made a paladin persona on this character. Played that a little bit. I've played the Shadow Knight a little bit. And I don't know. I wish I was more into the paladin, because I really want just a straight up, just total good guy to balance my characters out a little bit. But I don't. He's just a little too clicky, and when you try to play him not as clicky, he's just so slow. And stuff like that. I know people rave about their damage and what they can do against the undead mobs, but you know, I mean, Shadow Knights are no slouches. I mean, they may not be able to do crazy special DPS against special types of mobs, but they have advantages that not a lot of people have against undead, and they've got other things they can do, harm touch and crap like that, and when I'm playing this Shadow Knight, I feel a lot less clicky. I feel like if my attention is diverted for just a little bit, I can, you know, for a few seconds to maybe change channel on my TV if I'm having that going on, or if I'm looking over, oh, you know, it's a new commercial that's something I'd like to buy, you know, and look back over, I'm not going to be suddenly like at 10% life and I'm going to die, you know. So there's a lot of procs and stuff, kind of like with my, excuse me, kind of like with my Ranger. The Rangers rely a lot on procs and things, and procy type AA abilities and things, passive AA abilities that have to process or proc a certain condition in order for it to go. And the Shadow Knight's got a lot of stuff that's kind of like that too. So it makes them a little more kind of yo-yo-y, you know, up and down a little bit. But they have enough armor and they're tanky, and it's not that big of a deal. A lot better than with my Ranger, that's for sure. And yeah, they're supposed to be a tank, so that's how it is. They're kind of an offensive tank, which is, you know, and I always like to have pets, and of course this guy's got an Elwood pet. So because of that, technically I have I've got a Merc that I've named Elwood for my Ranger. I could use that, so I could have two Elwoods on this guy if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna. That's just too confusing. I don't want to. That's just weird. So I'm using a different Merc, and this is just a healer Merc, and named it Fizzlefart, and I like that name. It's funny. There we go. So I'm just doing a Gribbles here. I'm going to do this Gribbles. It's just the kill Gribbles into the hills. If anybody's familiar with that. I'm not real good at explaining things from scratch for people that are completely new to this or have been out of the game for, like, you know, 10, 15 years type of thing. So I would recommend Fezzlewig's forum. Check out that channel, and he'll square you away on a lot of stuff that is kind of basic, but might be new or a nice refresher for anybody returning. Okay? This is just meant for me. I'm throwing this out there. I'm not really that familiar with the Shadow Knight class. And, you know, anybody wants to give me any tips. I'm not going to go over my stuff down here. My buttons and everything like I do on some other like caster things. They're labeled pretty explanatory. Number 6 is my Lanny's what do you call it, life tap, that also gives me some kind of bonuses for 10 minutes to aggression, hate generation, and also gives me a few extra hit points. And from what I've read, that's a big thing. You always use that, so I'm using it. So, like, I'm being a good Shadow Knight. That's what you're supposed to do. So, the nuke, I got it. Let me go ahead. The nuke thing, it uses the spear nuke, which is cheap and powerful, but has a super long cooldown. But it's nice for, hate generation, big chunk of hate. And bite is this bite of chaos AA that is on a pretty short timer. It's only like a minute, yeah, and it does some good things. So that can just, the bite of chaos can generally, when I'm soloing, I can use that once a fight, and maybe every other fight if I'm in a group. And so it's worth just throwing on a spammy kind of button. And then there's the taps, and then dots, and it's my attack, and the pull. I use the snare to pull, and I also use Hate's Attraction, which is the sort of like, Mortal Kombat Scorpion thing. Get over here, kind of a thing. They can just kind of whip them up on you. I like using that. I don't know why. I've yet to see a Shadow Knight in our guild use it. I was like, why would you not want to use this whenever you can? This is amazingly awesome. You can't pull a rare like that, or a raid mob or anything, but it is a really nice, easy way, quick and easy way to get a mob right up on you really fast and just FD right away to split them up. And it's got a pretty good range. So by the time the thing gets there and you can FD it off, it stays there, and all the other mobs are way in the back, way back where they may have taken a couple steps by the time you FD. And you just pop back up, and I'll show you when I do this. I'm explaining too much. I talk too much. Here we go. All right. Let me go when, and we're gonna get right in there and start killing some bad guys. I'm a good bad guy, so I'm still a good guy. I switched some of my cosmetic things around a bit to be able to make this guy look proper. This sword ornamentation was on my Necro, and I took it off him to put on here because it just felt wrong not to have a fancy sword graphic on this guy. And I got some armor, this blood forged armor, to make him look all kind of sort of like a Dark Knight, scary, blood-sucking kind of tank. I think I'm gonna get my little bat thing too off of my Necro, so he has bats flying around him and stuff, sort of like a vampire-ish type of thing. I think it'd look kind of cool. Okay, here we go. Enough talking. Make sure if I go too far. There we go. Boom. There's the undead bad guys. I'm gonna put myself as a tank and main assist. I'm not sure if it doesn't really mean that much. See, look at that. That's awesome. I've recently, last night I leveled. So there you go. So I did all the buttons basically up until the 6th button, which was Lanny's, which you see on my buttons here is depressed because I was using my keyboard. And now for the rest of the fight, I can just chill, auto attack for the rest of it, and everything will be fine. I know these mobs aren't as tough as some other mobs in other Xpacs and stuff. I'm going to do Gribbles up until about level 100. And then I'll I'll chill and probably use them in Frontier Mountains and Empires of Canark Xpac. Mess around in there when I'm bored or just feel like playing them, but then I'll probably start relying much more on Overseer for XP, like I do, like I did my mage. My mage is max level, and I did most of his levels that way through Overseer, and just kind of cleaned them up after the fact. And excuse me. It's just my phone, and it sounds very important, but it's just my alarm. I got up early this morning. This is morning time. Anyway, yeah, I got up early this morning, and so I'm doing this. So there we go. Sometimes I get up, I had a health issue with my back, and got it taken care of some time ago, but I get a twinge once in a while. I'm healing up better now, so I'm getting twinges less often, but like this morning, it woke me up and I couldn't get back to sleep, so I'm up. So just the way it is. But yeah, like Fizzle Fart. They're healing just fine, even though they don't have any Merc gear yet. All right, now here I'm going to end up doing the FD thing to split them up, and it's no problem. Now my FD button, I actually have my pet FD in also. Because I want the aggro, not my pet. My necro, I don't do it like that, because a lot of times after I've FD'd, once mobs start clearing away, before I get up on my necro, I'll send the pet in. If I do that, I did that a couple of times on my Shadow Knight. My pet's weak enough that he dies before I get up and get over there and get aggro off of him. So that's not good. So I go up to sit up, and then he goes up with me, and then I just kind of re-pull the guy, and we're good to go. Incidentally, when your pet is FD, if you're playing a Shadow Knight or a Necro, if he's down and you don't have him manually stand up like that, when next time you send him to attack, he'll still get up. He'll get up and go and attack. He'll respond to commands. Just so, in case anybody was wondering or didn't know that. Yeah, I like also like this buff here, Malarian skin. It helps the defense out a bit, and it looks like one of those type of buffs, self buffs or pet buffs that is really meant to be cast like basically every fight. It's a short duration, and I think it's fairly cheap with mana too. That's how you can really tell also. Yeah. Nowadays, anything less than 1,000, even at level like in your 80s and stuff of levels, is pretty darn cheap. I mean, it's not super cheap, but it's cheap. I mean, it's fine. Definitely castable every fight to make sure you always have it on. It's valuable. See right here, you can see this proc here. This effect absorbs damage. Next 3 attacks, a strike. I mean, this is awesome, man. This almost really replaces the withstand combat discipline. This absorbs next 2 melee attacks. So, yeah. Then you got both those working together. Geez, you can really soak up some damage pretty good. And we got others coming. Come on. There we go. Now these are ghosts, so if I stand up with just regular invis on me, they're just going to come right back at, come back on me again. Death Peace is not instant. It's practically instant on my Necro. I don't know if it gets better with levels or not. I can't remember on my Necro if it was ever as slow casting as it is on here, but it's pretty damn slow. See if he's back far enough. He should be. Yeah, he is. I got these skills, yeah, improving because I've, leveled and stuff, This is a nice low stress, kind of casual kind of way of playing a tank, and that's the kind of play I like. Fez, the leader of our guild, which also has that channel I recommended earlier for people. He's like a master at trade skill stuff and anything basically from like the old school EverQuest stuff from like, man, I would say anything from level 65 on down. He knows it and he's experienced a lot of stuff that's just cool. And he just knows a lot. And he's good at explaining it too. A lot better than me. So yeah, I highly recommend his channel for anybody that is thinking about maybe playing again, or maybe a father or mother or grandfather or grandmother that has played this game and they're curious about it because when they were little they saw them playing it and you want to play it. That's fine. So there you go. Fez will set you straight. I forget where I was going with that, but yeah. Oh, style of play. Fez likes to play kind of slow like me too. He's a little bit more cautious than me. And I know a little bit more about the higher level game than he might. At least maybe some character class mechanics that I'm become familiar with, because that's what makes the game kind of fun with me. I'll look stuff up a bit here and there, but I don't just like copy and paste like say a spell lineup or anything like that. I like to figure crap out on my own, and to get the general gist of how the interactions of a certain class work out. And that's part of the fun for me. I like that. So there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Get over here. All right. A little scorpion. It'd be cool. Instead of just jumping over at you, it'd be kind of cool if you kind of did something. Like, I don't know, some sort of a shadow leash or a blood trail leading up to the mob, and it would kind of skate over at you as you pull your arm back. I mean, that's kind of next level stuff that this game is not really designed to do. That'd be kind of neat though, because there's a similar effect in another MMO that I will not name because old schooler EverQuest people, it's kind of a taboo thing. But it came out in 2004 and it's very cartoony. That's the game I'm talking about. It makes okay. His very name is a surprise. Anyway, so I've played that off and on also, and there are some parts about that game that I like. I do like it, and I like it in some ways. Whoa, there we go. See, this one I can just get up and start going to town on because he's so far away. Anyway, and they have a class they call Death Knight. And on the Death Knight class in that game, which is like a Shadow Knight, they have a pulling thing that they can do. And it brings the, kind of like with the Hates Attraction in EverQuest, it pulls the mob toward you, but it has a graphic that looks really kind of cool, and it's like these sort of dark tentacles that kind of reach out and just kind of shift, grab the mob over, and it leaps. It has a leaping effect like this did, but you can see some tentacles go out and it just feels cooler. This game's just old. They can't afford those kind of fancy effects. It's just the way it is. I'm good with it. I don't like that other game as much as this because, again, I don't like feeling like I have to click buttons like I'm playing an Xbox or something like that all the time. I like a more strategic or tactical kind of gameplay that doesn't require quick reactions as much. And this game has never been about quick reactions. Now, its current state, it's probably a little quicker than it used to be for sure, but it's still not exactly like console quick. That as far as the action goes, it's not that bad. And some people, I think, if they try to say that it's that bad, it's either been a while since they played on a console, or they just haven't rolled with the times and evolved with the game. So it's the way it is. But the great thing about this game is you can just stay in the lower levels if you want, because you can just halt your progression as far as levels go. There's a number of people I've known that they don't like the game after level 65, so they just lock and keep their character at 65, and they typically box, which is playing more than one count at one time, and they just kind of go through the older zones and they do that type of feel, that type of thing, and that's what they like, and you can play like that, and that's fine. Me, I don't want to waste money on more than one account. And it makes me feel weird. I feel like I'm being just a little too excessive for a game. This is a game. I'm going to leave my pet over there, still sitting, just to kind of demonstrate that when I start engaging, I hit attack and I send my pet to attack, it will still come and, help out and stuff. See through viz anyway. I was going to try to attack him. Now he come up. He sat up because I sat up, because that's what my button does. My sit button on my bottom there, you see? So yeah. Anyway, here we go. We're doing it. Forget what I was talking about before. Anyway. So this is what I'm doing. We got ogres up there on the bridge. It's interesting. These guys die quick. I don't even have to put lannies on them. It's crazy. Get him, Elwood. Get him. I tried having the taunt on Elwood. Now he's like a rank 1 pet, which is what non-pet classes get. They get, just like if other spell ranks, they get a spell rank for their pets. And Anyway, he's pretty weak. So my next level, I'm 87. At level 88, I'll get a new pet, and I have the rank 2 for that one. He might be able to take hits a little bit better than this Elwood, but I can't afford to have Elwood have talent on because the healer ends up healing him so much. Fizzlefart is a little slow on the execution for trying to heal me sometimes, and it gets a little, I've never died from it yet, but I could tell it's just wise not to rock the boat and have the healer healing my pet too much. So, plus my pet's naked, he didn't have any gear on him or anything. Just kind of nice to be able to play like that. Ow! So I've played pet classes a lot. Sometimes it's a relief to not have to worry about pet gear and stuff so much. Oops, didn't really need to do that. Whoa. That's just crazy, man. Oh no. Well, okay, now this is something that happens sometimes that is important to note. When you have an FD class, is the healer. Technically, you're not going to die, and I should not die. My backup FD, which was Death Piece, takes a little bit to cast. And because it did, I think I may have taken a hit before I cast it. I don't know, because of the timing of everything. A heal landed on me before I went prone, and the healer got some aggro. And what I can do now, I can't suspend him. Fart knockers. I've done it before. It's because I'm in combat still. There we go. Death's Effigies is another thing. I've mentioned it before in other Necro videos I've had, but it applies to the Death Knight also. If you are prone and you have FD'd and this was down at the time and you had to use Death Piece to drop aggro, you can if they haven't dropped the aggro by the time Death Effigy comes up, you can hit this while you're prone and it'll still work. It'll even still, as you can see, give me the invisibility. So I can get up now. He doesn't see through invis, and I'm good. You know, I'm just gonna wait for the healer. I don't want to cast invis because that'll get his attention because I'm too close. So just, anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to wait till I bring my healer back out and I can rock and roll again. Unfortunate for this this recording, but I guess it could give me some time to go in more detail about my setup here I've come up with for the Shadow Knight that's so far is working okay. I know in the past I haven't really been using the anchors very much. People are all giddy and they use the anchors a lot, so I got a primary and a secondary anchor. They're on different timers. I didn't expect that. It makes sense, but I don't know why I didn't expect it. But yeah, they're longer timers than for Throne of Heroes, though, and they feel just as long casting. But they're nice to have. So between Throne of Heroes, the two anchors, Stein, and I don't have it on there, but even if you're super desperate, you can still use the Origin, which is another thing. It's just freaking crazy, man. there's no reason not to be able to just teleport out of wherever you're at. That is way different than things used to be back in the day. All right. This is the spell lineup here I'm using. I think there's one more disease dot I could be using. Be honest, I might do that. This Malarian Spear, I mean, it's cool and it does a lot of damage for the, I mean, look at this. It's super fast cast and it costs, 480 mana stock, with the discounts, it's somewhere between 350 something and 420 something. It's crazy cheap for the amount of damage. It does like over 1700 damage. That is a crazy damage ratio to mana spend. Crazy for a melee class, This is nice. But the cooldown is so long. It's about the same amount of cooldown as it is for it's just long for like a progression spell or something. It's super long. I got a feeling that whatever my progression spell for the Shadow Knight is, they're typically on about minute timers, would replace this anyway. I'll have more spell gems by then, though. One more, I believe. So there'll be room for it. But in the meantime, I'm thinking about putting a disease dot on there and reconfiguring some stuff here a little bit. And then just getting rid of this and just putting the Chaos Bite here. You know what? Let's just do that now. Screw it. In case I change my mind, I'll leave this intact. But I'll be able to find it when I look for it over here. I'm going to move this punk ass thing here. Let's move that for tidiness. And I'm going to get damage over time, disease. Wait a minute here. I thought there was like another disease dot. Am I tripping? What's going on here? Well, I know I thought there was one that kind of improved. It's like a debuff. Disease dot. What the frack is going on? I know this is boring for people. Sorry. I'm not really trying to. I just throw these videos up for. Okay, I already have that one. For funsies. I'm not really trying to make money like Fez is or anything like that. It's just a nerdy little hobby thing. I do. I'll be damned. I thought there was like another disease dot. Well, regardless, there is another this dot's pretty long. Ugh. You know what? I changed my mind. Change my mind. Nuke Bite, you're back. Yep. As you can see, but look at this, man. I put it up there. It's still got like 20 seconds to go, and I put it as well. It's maybe not a minute. It's probably got like a 40-second. It's like a really long. It's not good. Too long. All right, Fizzle Fart, you got all your stuff on you? Yep, you do, because they dismissed or suspended you. Doing your little spell dance there, spell casting jig. All right, you done? You're good, Fizz. All right, here we go. Oh, great. I gotta reset myself as tank and assist. At least I'll have to, while I'm doing this, I don't have to redo. Nobody's asked to be in my group, have they? I missed chatter. Doesn't look like it. I put a little word out in Guild that I was doing this, and people wanted to join me, they could. Yeah, these collections seem to cross over. Now, one thing that did not cross over, I've noticed with my special AAs, is the item AAs didn't cross over at all from my Ranger. At least not all of them. The not the focus, what do you call them? Fortitude ones did. Here's Fortitude, these cross over. Here's Vitality, all that stuff. That crosses over. But for some reason, the item ones that you get for clicking on your, clicky things and stuff, they do not cross over. So, that's something that was unexpected. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because my Ranger got to click a guild mate has a Cloak of Flames that has the max level for weapon haste. Non-buffage sort of AA driven combat melee haste. Normally the highest rank you can get is 7 of the 8 ranks, and the Cloak of Flames is the only thing I know of that gives the last 8th rank of melee stuff. And so there you go. So I'm missing that on my Shadow Knight here. It'll pump them up a few points there in haste. The Jan's Mask buff as well as the mount buffs work on a persona, as well as also the familiar buff that I have on him. All works at all the lower levels, which is awesome. But always, if things are snareable, always snare when you're trying to split mobs with FD. It drives me crazy. I don't know why people in our guild don't ever use snare when they're trying to split mobs with FD. I don't know if they just don't know about it or what. It's just a thing, man, that I can't, it kind of amazes me people don't use it. I don't know. Maybe it's my old school mentality. Much like Fez, I prefer to fight one mob at a time. So I'm always, if I can split mobs up and just so I can just have to fight one at a time, I will do it. And Fez is very much like that. He's particular on exactly how he likes to do it, but he still, that's how he thinks, though. You'd rather just fight one mob than two or three or four. You know, a lot of other, especially Shadow Knight players, man, they just don't care, man. They just like, blah, just grab like groups of mobs. And they claim, hey, I'm a good puller. I see how many mobs I can get. Yeah, doesn't take any skill to grab like 1,000 mobs at one time. You just got to run around and get the aggro. Duh. I mean, it takes no skill at all. You don't have to know at all what you're doing. Oh, I didn't wait long enough for Death's Effigy, so I got to wait for it to pop up again. Maybe not. Let's see if the aggro clears. It's got 6 seconds for the aggro to clear all the way. It's going to work. Nope. Clearing it. You may be wondering how my pet jumps to the back right away. I'm using a AA called the Pet Discipline. I've put into the attack this one. Pet Discipline or Companion's Discipline. I call it Pet Discipline, but it's listed in the AAs as Companion's Discipline in case you're looking for it and you're not aware about it. Because maybe you've always played classes that didn't really care that you didn't have. I mean, you didn't have combat pets or something, right? So if you go over here in Archetype, Companion's Discipline right here. This used to be a totally passive thing, but it's not a passive thing anymore. Ooh, got something new. Cash loot. All right, money. Now it's got other things that it will do if you use it for an action. It does a bunch of other commands in the pet window that you can do, but also it will relocate. It's probably up here in the main description. Anyway, what do you call it? Leaps the pet or pushes the pet the direction you're facing a certain amount. You know, like here, I'll just pull this guy here. And I'm just going to wait till this guy gets all the way up on me, and then I'll start attacking, and then the pet will start attacking, and I'll flip in the back there. It's a nice thing to have most of the time. When I run across a situation that it's detrimental, maybe I'll rethink my strategy, but pets they're more likely to hit from the back than the front, and plus they won't take any repose damage, riposte, however you say that word, from the mob counterattacking their attacks, type of thing. Drive up? Yeah, I do. All right. Go ahead and do that. So that's why my pet, does that, and it's pretty useful, It doesn't warp them so far back that they're going to aggro anything else. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if that's possible for the pets to aggro independently like that anymore. I don't think it is. Many, like decades ago, they changed how the pets aggro works. And back in the day, it used to be a situation where you could be in a dungeon or someplace, and they would ask the pet classes to suspend their pets, because the pets, when they would follow you, they were seen as part of you. So, and they would get aggro if passive aggro, if they went too close to a bad guy. So and dungeons have lots of weird turns, and the pathing is horrible. And typically, if you're going around in a dungeon with your group and you had a pet dragon you were dragging along following you, it would take weird routes and get too close to mobs, and it would aggro mobs. It would die because you're just paying attention, and next thing you know, you get a train of mobs of like 3 or 4 or 5 mobs are coming on you because in a dungeon, probably a bad place in the dungeon too, because the pet aggroed stuff, and you didn't suspend your pet. So then people get all mad and stuff because that's not a good thing to die, and that was kind of a crazy thing. But a long time ago they changed it. Now the pets, they don't have to be invisible. They just don't they don't draw passive aggro at all. So anyway, it's just how that goes. These things tend to be long when you're soloing them. So, and I'm running out of things to say that could be useful. So I'm going to stop the video here. If you want to know everybody, the audience I'm probably generating, this is old school stuff, boring stuff really. This is the bridge that goes across the other edge, the other side of this bridgey type thing, bumpy bridge, whatever, or usually some kind of other mobs you have to kill. It's just a bunch of just kill everything in your path till you get up to there's like a little gnome at the end, and you have to hail them, and you run all the way across after you've killed all the mobs. Technically you don't have to kill every single mob, but a lot of people do anyway. Unless you're not strong enough to be able to kill the rare that might pop up on the other side. Then you just run all the way across back to the beginning, and you hail that guy, and you get all your experience. So it's pretty easy to understand. There's no trick to it. So this is Elwood EQ, and I'm just going to leave you here while I finish, and I'm going to finish this up and rest my voice because I'm starting to get a little hoarse. I'm still healing from my, I got a back thing going on. I want to save myself a little bit for the stream tonight because it's a Saturday, and so things will be cool there, and I'll have to talk then too, so I got to rest my voice. So you guys have a good one. This is Elwood EQ, and I am out.